unspeakably powerful. Macedonia, for example, began as a constantly besieged kingdom on the periphery of the Hellenic world, but within the lifetimes of King Philip II and his son Alexander the Great, it had conquered most of the known world, from Greece to the edge of India. Rome, meanwhile, was little more than a small city-state at the mercy of its mysterious Etruscan neighbors, before conquering most of Western Europe, the Balkans, North Africa, and the Levant. One thing these prominent empires have in common is their lifespan. History's largest and most commanding empires have seldom survived beyond a few centuries before seeing themselves lose relevance, transform from within or without, or disappear altogether. Indeed, some experts have suggested that the average lifespan of a historical empire tends to sit around 250 years, which raises the possibility that America may be about to go through some pretty rough years. Naturally, the average lifespan of a historical empire tends to sit around 250 years, which raises the possibility that America may be about to go through some pretty rough years. Naturally, the rise of an empire can come very quickly indeed, but the decline can happen just as quickly. Among others, the Macedonians conquered the largest empire to have ever existed by that point, the Persian Empire. Yet the massive civilization Alexander forged in just a few years collapsed with great speed as soon as he died. Despite the efforts of many to take over the empire in its entirety, the conflict between Alexander's generals was too great for a single victor to emerge. After more than a decade, dynasties such as Ptolemaic, Egypt, and the Seleucid Empire emerged from the shattered region. Macedonia still existed, sure, but it had little direct control over much beyond Greece. Eventually, even these lands fell to Rome after subsequent centuries of political infighting and military decline. Conversely, the collapse of Rome was an exceptionally slow process. Like the Macedonians, the Romans had conquered lands fell to Rome after subsequent centuries of political infighting and military decline. Conversely, the collapse of Rome was an exceptionally slow process. Like the Macedonians, the Romans had conquered an enormous amount of territory. Unlike their spiritual predecessors, however, they managed to maintain control of their lands for centuries. Unfortunately for the Romans, the cost of expansion began to wear away the empire's foundations. A variety of factors came into play, including the thinning of military supply lines, raids and rebellions by conquered peoples, overpopulation, plagues, and even, arguably, a mini ice age. The A variety of factors came into play, including the thinning of military supply lines, raids and rebellions by conquered peoples, overpopulation, plagues, and even, arguably, a mini ice age. The empire A variety of factors came into play, including the thinning of military supply lines, raids and rebellions by conquered peoples.
Shalom Yashral, all praises and glory goes to our mighty power Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations unto the elect men that's continually feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, in sincerity and truth through this great gospel, man. Good news for us, bad news to these other nations, right? Good news for us and bad news to these other nations, and their kingdom is failing and falling fast. And these Edomites, and this is not the beginning of their rulership. This is the end of their rulership. This is the end of Esau's world, right? So that's why he's in such a low state. That's why he's such a low state. And you got to realize these kingdoms were not set up to rule forever, right? All you got to do is look at all the other kingdoms in history, right? They had a time to rule until what the Lord brought their fucking demise. The Lord brought their end, right? Read the book of Psalms 104:9. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth, right? The Lord has limits for everything, for the waters, right? For these animals. Why do you think these animals respect man on a certain level? That they don't devour man. Like, you got these big ass fucking lions and tigers and bears, right? And all type of snakes and serpents and all type of shit that could just go into cities and tear people apart. But the Lord set a bound where they can't fucking go past whatever limit the Lord give them, right? Everything has its limit. Just like it speaks about in the book of Job. Let me get that. I'm going to read the book of Job 14:5 reads, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Esau, Edom. Right? He's not going to go past the time that the Lord has set for him to accomplish what he was supposed to accomplish on earth, right? What was he supposed to accomplish on earth? The punishment of the children of Israel, man, the captivity. Put us in captivity. What else? Set up nuclear missiles on earth. What else he's going to do? Use them motherfuckers. The Lord going to put a spirit on Esau, Edom, to shoot missiles from one country, one end of the earth to the other. And the other nations, they going to follow suit. the ones that have nuclear capability. That's what you got going on right now, man. Everybody is serving their fucking purpose on earth. Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined. The number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, man. He ain't gonna go 1 second past his appointed time of what? Destruction. Yeah, his appointed time of destruction is at hand, right? Because these Edomites are not the ones, they're not the same Edomites that ruled in the past, right? They're the same Edomites, but that strength is gone. That might is gone, right? The founding forefathers, right? The spirit of takeover, the spirit of covet. What the scripture says. I'm reading the book of Micah. We're going to start in Micah 1 and 2 and 1. Salak, 2 and 1. It reads, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Because it is in the power of their hand, right? When the Lord gave Esau Edom the strength during the Renaissance, right? It was in the power of their hands to go through the four corners of the earth and take things that did not belong to them, right? Lands, natural resources, right? Humans, people, right? I'm reading again. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. And they covet fields and take them by violence. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, right? That's the spirit of Esau Edom. He oppress a man, his house, his heritage, right? You gotta realize Native Americans are being oppressed. The Hispanics, the so-called Hispanics are being oppressed. The so-called Negroes are being oppressed. All nations are really being oppressed in Esau Edom, right? Because they gotta change their money to petrodollar just to purchase oil, right? They gotta learn English. They gotta learn all these different things that go back to Esau Edom, because he's the man in power right now. I'm reading again. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, right? They always plotting. Esau Edom always plotting, right? On the next evil. How we gonna take over the world, Pinky? Right? That's what's on this motherfucker's mind. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. In their hand, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, right? Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against this family, do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go hardly. For this is the time. For this time is evil. For this time is evil. The times are evil, just as the motherfucking founding forefathers who so-called discovered America, right? Imagine you having your wallet in your pocket and a motherfucker take your wallet and you beat his ass. When you go to court, they let him out because he said he discovered your wallet, right? He done pulled a founding forefathers discovery, right, clause on your ass. He done pulled the founding fathers discovery clause on your ass, and the court buys it. Yeah, he discovered your wallet, something that was already yours, that already belonged to someone, right? That's the same thing with America, right? America had already belonged to the Native Americans, the so-called Tainos, the so-called Hispanic tribes. And what did Esau do? He came and took that shit. He covered field and he took it by violence, right? He put people into captivity. And where are you at right now? You're still in the hands of your fucking enemy. I'm going to read the book of Nahum 1 verse 3. It reads, Yahweh, the Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. I'm going to read that again. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The Lord is slow to anger and great in power. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, in the storm, and the clouds are at the dust of his feet. And the Lord uses these things to bring punishment upon wicked people, right? The wind, the storms, the tempest, right? The fire, the brimstone, right? The plagues, the pestilence, all these different things for the destruction of the wicked. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Book of Proverbs 11 and 21. And it reads, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered, right? The wicked shall not be unpunished. The wicked will be punished. That's the future of the wicked. The wicked got to pay for the things they have done, right? The death, the violence, the oppression, right? The destruction of the earth, right? They got to pay for all these things.